Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, beautiful friends and followers. Hope you are all doing absolutely amazingly well, enjoying the beautiful weather. Today I come to you with another message from God, a message that is widely known and has been heard by us many times. And it is, the truth will set you free. Although I think I should put it, the truth will set us free. And I would like to start today by sharing my personal experience on how the thing that is not the truth, how the lies and how the manipulations of the enemy were trying to derail me on my personal path of growth and healing, and my personal path of coming into union with God. So my personal awakening started probably around 8 years ago, and it was a very intense time right from the beginning. I was learning so many new things. I was expanding my consciousness and awareness. I was becoming aware of so many gifts and talents that were asleep within me, but they started to awaken. And I was very much aware from the beginning that the journey of awakening, the journey of healing, is the journey back home, is the journey back to the true divine self, and it is the journey back to the truth that we actually never left home, that we are one with God, and that we are one with this infinite field of unconditional love. So in a simple words, we could say that for those of us who decided to step on that path, we felt, because it was literally felt even on the physical level, this call, this push towards the God, the rebuilding the relationship with God, being hungry for knowledge, being hungry for truth, being hungry for the depth, being hungry for feeling more, experiencing on a different level the life that we were creating. And even though I felt I was walking this path, literally in a simultaneous way, I was actually experiencing events on or shifts, energetic, maybe not shifts, but energetic, I could call it probably attacks, literally attacks, that in the same time as I was walking towards God, they were taking me 2 steps back. And what do I mean by that? I would experience a lot of episodes of imposter syndrome, a lot of episodes of procrastination, a lot of episodes of very strong resistance towards the work that I wanted to do, which was to teach others, which was to lead others. The more my awareness was expanding, the more access to different truth I was gaining, the resistance was becoming stronger and stronger. And I thought every single time that this was happening, I thought that it meant that this is simply something that is unhealed within me, that I need to look at, and I need to go back into the hermit mode, back into the healing zone, and make myself unavailable to others because I need to heal something. And eventually I noticed that this pattern started to repeat. Whenever I actually felt to make that 5 steps ahead, something would come up and I would go back to this healing zone. What I did not realize, what was the awareness that I did not have access to, was that actually the closer you are starting to get to God, the more the enemy, the beast within you, will try to prevent you from doing so. So for a very long time, personally, I was actually experiencing I was experiencing those moments when I thought that I will never be healed, because whenever I feel like I am, something is happening and something is surfacing. I am not made for that, you know, I'm too weak, you know, and month by month and year by year, I started to feel tired. I started to feel exhausted. I started to feel that even though my belief and the inner feeling and the inner calling felt so strong, I think I was not made to stand up and step into my mission and step into my potential and my power, because there's always something that this was creating a huge, massive resistance inside of me. Now, when I felt really, really tired on a physical, emotional, mental level, I started to hear those whispers of full surrender. Just go and step into full surrender. And that took me a while before I've understood also what the full surrender really meant, because from many testimonies that I've heard on YouTube, for example, from people who are Christians, people who renewed their faith and the trust in God, and I actually felt that my trust and faith was getting weaker and weaker because of all those disappointments of not being able to manifest certain things in my reality, not being able to feel better, not being able to feel that closeness with God, not being able to feel my heart expansion. I was losing my faith and trust. And as I was watching those testimonies on YouTube, and of course I started to compare myself, my toxic ego, the beast within, found another reason to say and take me further away from God, to say that, see, God went and he helped them. And where is God in your life? Where do you see God's work, evidence of God's work in your personal life? There is no evidence of it. And at that state, when I was really, really weak emotionally, mentally, I start to take that belief, you know, as my own. And because when we hear those thoughts in our head, whether we speak about something spiritual or just something really casual in our life, we believe that these thoughts, because they exist in our mind, they are ours, but they're often not. They're often not. And there may be the many different beings trying to create chaos and false beliefs within our mind. And the sad truth is that it's been happening for centuries now. And the more I become aware of how we actually operate, how we are being built, the more maybe not anger, but sadness I feel that certain truths haven't been given to us when they are our birthright. But moving forward, when it comes to those testimonies, the people that I've watched, they would usually say, I surrendered my whole life to God, to Jesus, and within a short space of time, miracles were happening in my life. You know, I got a new job, I was able to pay off the debt that I had, my relationship got healed, my physical health was healed. And that's what I learned to believe that the full surrender is, that you fully surrender your life to God, and your whole reality will be fixed. But I now know that this is not the case, and I decided to share a little bit more about surrender and what will be happening individually for us when we choose to truly commit to it. Now, when we start to get closer, as I said, to ourselves, when we start to get closer to God, when this pull towards God is becoming very, very obvious, and potentially, you know, there is a mission that is also connected to that, meaning I feel like I want to now take my relationship with God and the way it is transforming me and give it to other people out of love, because I simply feel I want to be in service. It always means for the enemy that we become a danger to it. We truly, truly become a danger to it. And it will try to sabotage our moves. And the way the enemy is trying to sabotage is by taking over our thoughts, is by taking over our emotions, is by expanding and exaggerating all of our insecurities wherever there is still unhealed within us. And that's what was happening with me, but I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it, and therefore I was looping and looping and looping. And eventually, out of exhaustion, I just said, Jesus, I just surrender. I surrender. And if it wasn't for the fact that I decided to watch all of those testimonies with great joy and love in my heart for those people who shared them, and happiness that they experienced those kind of changes in their life, but in the same time completely let go of any expectations on how my own personal surrender will evolve, will expand. And I chosen to become more patient with this process instead of simply sitting and waiting for everything in my life to be fixed for me, meaning to be saved, and within a week, you know, move into the next chapter of my life. The truth is that the more things you need to heal within you, the more asset you actually create within your life path. When you are transforming all those generational, as people call it, curses, or those generational miscreations, lies, distortions, pains, the bigger the opportunity for you to take that and carry that into the world so you can help others, and the bigger danger you truly, truly become. So when I was impatiently, you know, waiting after trying the surrender time and time again, I eventually said to God, God, I've been trying to manifest this one specific thing, this change, this shift in my life, and it's not working. Why is it not here? And the way God speaks, and I've been saying this, I'm speaking here about source. I'm speaking here about the center of it all. And the way God responds is always so simple, yet filled with wisdom. And that what God responded to me was this: it already is. You just imagine that is, you are imagining that it's not there. And even though, of course, I was blown away with the word of God being given to me in such a beautiful, simple way, and of course I loved the wisdom, the way it has been said, I kind of thought, right, so it is about me not doing enough visualizations. So are you saying, God, that I am putting more attention, meaning my life force energy, on worrying that it is not here, or not spending enough time trying to visualize and embody the frequency of already having it? That's what I initially thought. But when I eventually, out of my exhaustions, trials and tribulations, started to also fully commit to building a solid and tangible and truthful, deep connection to Yeshua, to God, not just by saying I surrender, I am the child of God, I am the light worker, but truly start praying and truly start to acknowledge and really feeling and committing on a much deeper level, I realized that God was always responding to my surrender, just differently than the people in those testimonies were sharing with me. And I realized that, you know, my ego mind created those expectations that I will be saved. And that was another word from God that I received when I was begging God, God, please release me from this pain. Please release me from this issue, from this distortion within me. And that was another moment when God said to me, do you wish to be saved or do you wish to be freed? And that again, you know, brought this level of humility and stillness when I had to stop and start contemplating what I've just been given. Now, when I started to truly, you know, commit into the surrender, acknowledging and accepting that it will have to be a process, that I won't be changed, healed, transformed, and the same goes for my reality with the touch of a magic wand, although it would be fantastic. But I'm going to have to go through a process of shedding the skin. And perhaps my surrender will be happening through listening, through giving myself wholly and fully to the guidance, to those teachings, to those messages, and finally embodying the truth. When I started to do more of this, instead of waiting for miracles, I realized that what God was doing for me since I gave my life to Him was to rebuild me from the inside out, so then I can manifest the reality that I desired, because the reality is not outside of us, it's within us. So the more and more I start to embrace the patience within me and listen to what Yeshua was teaching me, in one moment he said to me, see, the reason why you are so upset is because you are looking at something that is not there. The reason why you are feeling upset is because you believe in something that is not there. It's not happening. It is a miscreation of your mind. And that took me back to this moment when God told me, your manifestation is already here. You are just imagining that it is not. And I started to sit closer with what I've been given. And as I start to study also the Course in Miracles, when the truth is being given to us, that whatever is happening within this external reality that is causing us pain, it is not a reality that is of the truth, that comes from the truth. It comes from the lack of truth. It comes from a fact that we believed. At certain point, we accepted a specific belief about the world, about ourselves, about God, about how this reality is being created, about what we deserve, what we don't deserve, and everything else. And we believe in something that is not based on love, that is not based on God, that is not based on truth. Now Yeshua is teaching, Jay is teaching that if it's only a creation that is based on truth is real. If it's not based on the truth, which is the love, which is the abundance, it means that it is not there. And that's what God was meaning when he said to me, your manifestation is already here, because everything already is. Remember that there is no time. Remember that there is just one continuum of now. I was just imagining, meaning I was allowing the belief that something needs to be given to me because I want to be saved, because I believe that this is the better way for me. But what Yeshua started to teach me then was that no, if you want to be freed, we need to free your mind. We need to free your mind from those misconceptions, from those lies. And that's when I also start to remember what I've been very loudly hearing during my ayahuasca ceremony. The truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. And this is so true, because in order to transmute this external reality that is happening within the collective mind, when we realize that what we are seeing is based on an illusion, is based on a lie, and in order to change that, we need to embody the truth. What Jay told me this morning as I was walking Bailey in the park, he said, the problem with humanity for many generations is that when we see something that we don't like, whether it is in our individual life or it is in our collective reality, we are reacting to it and we are fighting with it. We are trying to change it. We are trying to control it, yeah? And he said, the moment you are reacting and you want to fight with it, it means that you are scared of it. In this moment, you are giving your whole power away to something that is not there. The moment when you start to run away out of fear from whatever is happening in your life, again, you are giving your whole power, your whole divinity, your self-worth to something that is not of the truth. He said, the way to transmute it is to not react with fear to it. It is to acknowledge it and then stand with the truth. Meaning, I was speaking about that in the last life. Acknowledge that it is not of the truth and therefore it is not real. Forgive yourself for the miscreation and give it and surrender it to God. But that takes us, you know, to this topic again that I was briefly discussing in the last broadcast about the full surrender. How much of our collective energy, how much of collective commitment we would need to really create in order to start shifting the collective reality. How many of us would want to and step fully, willingly into that full surrender as a collective, not only just on the individual basis, and give this distortion, this collective distortion to God? How many of us is willing to fully and from the heart start living in a communion with God and start practicing the forgiveness so we can start finally seeing the changes that actually in this moment when we are choosing to internally shift ourselves will then happen in the form of those miracles. When we will not have to fight with it, when we will not have to control it, when we will not have to create those external wars, because simply everything will be reflecting our own inner truth, our collective truth. How many of us is truly ready to do so? Because right now, still, even though the collective awakening all over the world has been happening for quite a while, we can still see that there is not enough willingness to start changing the way we live. In fact, it is the continuum that is constantly showing us that the disconnection is being more and more encouraged. When those simple truths, yes, those profound truths have been given to me in my personal life, what I started to feel was anger. Was anger that the Bible has been manipulated and misinterpreted by so many of us, that the truth has been hidden by the churches, that the schools are not teaching, they were not teaching us and they are still not teaching our children what is truly fundamental in life. So children are being fully and deeply and well prepared and know how to create the life that is based on truth, that is based on love. That there was so much given to us to create the type of humanity that is the humanity that is enslaved through our own consent. That's the saddest part. I start to feel anger, and that's when Jay said to me, don't react with anger. Do not react with anger. Instead, put all of this energy on how you can simply dress those truths that I am giving you so you can take it and give it to people. Do not force anyone, because no one can be forced. And in fact, the life force energy within every single person will eventually become so unbearable. The pain of disconnection will become so unbearable that eventually they will start to seek this truth for themselves, which you can do now. And that goes for me and all of you who are willing to listen, who are willing to stop and start asking more questions. Is that real? That the reason why I've been living in a continuous pain, frustration, sadness, loneliness, isolation, poverty, poor health, because I believed in something that is not here? Is it though so simple? Is the key to my sovereignty truly in what Jesus was trying to give us over to 2,000 years ago in the relationship with God, that we became so afraid of or so ashamed of having this relationship, again, because of different programmings? Is my key to the sovereignty in a full surrender? Is the key of giving away my free will to God to be finally free? Yes. And then the enemy within you, the beast within you, your ego may say, how can you give away your free will? Well, there is not much free will in this reality that has been created. We are being so controlled, so manipulated, that even our thoughts are no longer our thoughts, as I was explaining my own experience to you earlier. There is so much that is happening within the invisible realm that, again, no one is teaching. I can't see many schools right now, even when I do a research on the internet, schools that would give children the core knowledge about emotions, about energy, about manifestations, about the relationship to God, about the universal laws, and so on. We are still allowing, for example, the school systems to be exactly the same as they were 50 years ago, where children are being taught how to become the slave that works from 9 to 5. It's still the same thing happening over and over again, and actually on a deeper and deeper levels. And then so many of us just sit and watch this kind of broadcast and then switch it off and go and do the same reality, instead of stopping and just ask yourself, okay, is there something I can do? Can I start with myself, and can I start and objectively look around me and see what kind of illusions I am accepting as my truth in my life? Where am I accepting myself as the embodying of the identity that is not of the true self? You as the true self, you are a pure spirit. Yes, we incarnated into reality that is based on two polarities, but you have the choice. You can always choose. Who do you want to be? How do you want to react? What kind of action you wish to take, based on love or the fear? And if you look at yourself, and you will see that you actually managed to manifest a version of you, because you as a physical vessel, you are nothing else but an avatar that is also a form of manifestation. If you have manifested, and so many of us have manifested, the version of you that is so far away from truth, ask yourself, do you want to live and continue this life, creating this life as someone that you are not? And then, because of the agreement that's saying yes to someone that you are not, the identity that is not of your truth, the identity that is disconnected from God, from self, from heart, is creating all of those illusions. If you will be saying yes to this, do not expect miracles. What else God shared with me, he said, more and more, many and many of you will start to feel a complete lack of fulfillment whenever you will be trying to fill that void that comes from this disconnection, and you will start to realize how illusionary it was. You will start to feel more and more, because I'm calling all of your names in the same time, that the true fulfillment will only come by coming back to the center, by coming back and rebuilding the relationship with the divinity, rebuilding the relationship with truth. You will start to crave truth so much that you will not want to hear about anything else. And in fact, what else God said, that once you start connecting and acknowledging and choosing the true self, you, each and every single one of us has so much power to simply deny what we are looking at that is not there, and almost immediately bring forth the reality that will be based on the truth. Not through the fight, not through attack. That's what the ego wants us to do. So we live in conflict. So there's more and more wars all over the world that are nothing else but an expression, physical manifestation of the collective mind that is in war. There is so much greatness in us. We can hold and own so much authority within us that truly, I say to you, you can deny anything that is not of truth, because this is your birthright. This is the power that God gave to every single child. To deny it. And you can deny it also in the name of Jesus Christ. And give it then to God, to bring forth the reality that is based on truth. Do never, ever allow yourself to be again victimized by something that is not there, by lack that is simply in God's kingdom impossible. Lack of anything, limitations of any form. Do not allow yourself, because no one else will be able to say no to it. You need to be able to say this no. You need to be able to draw the line. You need to be able to choose for yourself what you are choosing to believe in, because what you believe in exists. So God is today reminding you, you have the power to choose, but you need to study your awareness. You need to finally learn how to see through those illusions. Otherwise, you will constantly feel enslaved. Otherwise, you will constantly feel that God forgot about you, that your manifestations are not coming to fruition, that you will forever stay broken, that you will forever stay alone, unhappy, sad, forgotten. God doesn't want to save you. God wants you to be freed. And you can only be freed by acknowledging the truth. And the truth will set you free. But it is you who needs to own the right to choosing your truth. God will not come and say, hey, hello, this is yours, remember? If necessary, there will be so much pain and discomfort eventually inside of you that you will have to find that strength and that power inside of you. You will eventually feel it. So ask yourself today, where am I accepting something that is not there as my truth? I am sending you all a lot of love, and I will see you back very, very soon. Bye-bye.